shot at me. So I felt like it was a little bit of jealousy.
No, I just didn't give enough. That's all.
Cool.
I just didn't give enough about it all.
Yeah, but when you said in the
ended
comments,
up-
you said something there. I think he's an attention seeker. So even with the racist comments, even with the homo stuff that he was doing, I think he's just a big attention seeker. He gonna do anything to get attention on him, and I think it's gonna backfire come January 31st.
Realistically, he believes he's the best, and I know I'm the best, and that's why we're getting to this point now. He wants to challenge himself. I'm here for it. I'm here to challenge myself every time.
Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez gear up for their January 31st clash as the boxing world watches closely. Precision, discipline, and elite defense collide with raw power, confidence, and aggression, turning this confirmed showdown into one of the anticipated fights of the year.
It's cool. He's supposed to feel that way. Like, he's supposed to say the things that he's saying. He's not saying nothing out of the ordinary or something that I didn't expect. Only thing that I kind of took away, he got on a podcast, I want to say, he said that I was slow. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, he's going to be very surprised come fight night, to where it's like, you really thought I was slow? Like, is that something like you put in your brain and thought it was about to come?
Heated press conferences set the tone as Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez finally come face to face, with Teofimo's father inserting himself into the exchange. Shakur highlights flaws he believes exist in Lopez's game, dismissing the southpaw debate and arguing that records mean little without elite competition. Teofimo's father fires back, questioning Shakur's resume and insisting he has yet to prove himself on the biggest stage. Voices rise, remarks sharpen, and the atmosphere turns chaotic and personal, intensifying the drama and pressure ahead of the January 31st showdown.
I'm not none of them fighters. I think that he did some great things against them guys. I seen a lot of weaknesses in his game too, and something that he said earlier. He said, Teo never lost to southpaw. Well, I never lost to orthodox. So it ain't no different, but
the difference is you never fought no elite fighter.
Okay, I don't think y'all did.
Oh, so you gotta show it, baby.
I don't
Pressure's
think y'all
on
did
you.
either. I ain't
It's
see.
not on my son.
I ain't see Lomachenko throw no punches.
He's never been on a big stage like this.
I didn't see Lomachenko.
Eddie Hearn praises Shakur Stevenson, calling him one of the most underrated fighters in boxing today. Despite major success in both the amateur and professional ranks, many fans and analysts still overlook his technical mastery, speed, and ring intelligence. Hearn highlights Shakur's consistency, adaptability, and relentless focus, stressing that these qualities separate him from his peers. He believes Stevenson is among the most impressive boxers of his generation, and that the boxing world is only beginning to grasp how truly exceptional his talent is.
Shakur is massively underrated in terms of his achievements and his ability. Everyone in boxing knows how good Shakur is. He is pound for pound, top 5 in terms of quality. But look at the achievements of the young man. At 28 years of age, he's already a 3-division world champion. This is to become a 4-division world champion. Quite remarkable. And Teofimo always rises to the occasion. Sometimes you see a little bit of a lackluster performance when he's not motivated, when there isn't kind of any legacy on the line. This is different. This is a sold-out Madison Square Garden between two of the elite fighters of our generation. And the best thing about this fight is
Roy Jones Jr. breaks down the matchup while speaking with Shakur Stevenson, placing heavy emphasis on adaptability as a deciding factor. Roy explains that fighters who can move will create constant problems, and adjusting to movement is often the toughest challenge inside the ring. Shakur responds by stressing that he won't rely on a single style, instead committing to versatility. He says he's prepared to move, use angles, control distance, or stand his ground if necessary to secure victory. Roy praises Shakur for displaying flexibility in past fights, noting that those traits produce the highest level matchups. He also points out that Teofimo Lopez can be extremely dangerous when focused and is capable of making sharp in-fight adjustments. According to Roy, the outcome will depend largely on mindset, preparation, and execution. If both fighters are fully locked in, the bout becomes a true high-level chess match. Roy urges Shakur to maintain his confidence, hunger, and championship mentality moving forward.
I think you have a masterful foot game as well. And I think that's probably what's going to be the hardest thing for him to adjust to. So how do you think he's going to adjust to that?
I don't want to give out too much. So,
Okay. All right.
but I mean, we all know he had problems with people that move around the ring. He wanted to stand in front of them, and he could pick them apart when you stand right there in front of him. But I plan on doing. I mean, I'm not gonna say the game plan, but I plan on doing a little bit of both.
I got you.
Plan on going, moving around. I don't plan on just standing in front. I plan on doing everything that it takes to win.
And I do applaud the fact that you did, like Andre just said, you did show people that you are versatile. You can do whatever is necessary to win a fight. This is the best, in my opinion. These are the best type of fighters to see. And Teofimo has shown sometimes that he can also be versatile and he can do whatever is necessary. Just sometimes he seems to have mental issues.
Analysts have spent the past month debating the state of boxing, pointing out how promotion and hype often fail to match reality. A major criticism centers on highly anticipated cards, such as a February 2025 event that was labeled the greatest in boxing history, but collapsed due to injuries and late pullouts. Fans were left disappointed as marquee matchups disappeared, with Shakur Stevenson ultimately facing an unknown opponent, while other elite bouts fell apart. This sparked renewed questions about how fights are promoted and whether the hype surrounding major events is credible. Analysts also argue that DAZN and The Ring failed to properly market Shakur Stevenson's recent fight involving Teofimo Lopez. Despite the stylistic intrigue and elite skill on display, weak promotion and mismatched expectations diluted fan interest. On paper, both fighters offer high-level quality, but without effective marketing, even strong matchups risk being overlooked, exposing ongoing flaws in boxing's business model.
But then, to do that and then not even promote the fight, this is a cool fight. I don't understand. Like, to me, it's a bit bizarre because the fans came out and they were like, man, Turkey, he's taking over the game. Remember last year, about a year ago, in February of 2025, he had the card with Better Biv and Bivol and whoever else was on it. And the card was announced and people said, this is the best card that we've ever seen in boxing history. Then the fight card came. Shakur's opponent pulled out, Floyd Schofield. Daniel Dubois pulled out of the fight, right? Because he was sick. And it wasn't this legendary card that people talked about. You know what I mean? And people, no one even says that now. Before they were talking about like, oh, it's the best card boxing's ever seen. And then the card happened and it kind of just came and went. It wasn't the card that they said it was going to be. Put it that way. So that's the point I'm making in this video, is like a lot of the preconceived notions that you guys put out, not Boxing Ego. I ain't put that out on my channel, right? But a lot of the stuff y'all said turned out to be cap. Here's the card in question, bro. They're like, this is the best card we've ever seen. And then half of the fights, two of the top three fights didn't even go off as planned because of injuries and sicknesses and pullout. And Shakur ended up fighting an electrician that no one ever heard of except for UK blokes.
Floyd Schofield sent a blunt and controversial message aimed at Shakur Stevenson, questioning the legitimacy of the hype surrounding him and several other top names. Schofield criticized the obsession with fantasy matchups, noting that neither Gervonta Davis nor Shakur has consistently faced the top four opponents of their era, despite fans demanding those fights for years. He argued that many discussions are disconnected from boxing's real competitive landscape. Schofield also addressed commentary about fighters' physiques, stressing that stockiness or body type does not determine skill or success in the ring. He expressed hope that Shakur takes on proven opposition, such as Khan, before moving up in weight, emphasizing the importance of accepting genuine challenges rather than sidestepping them. By calling out fighters who avoid difficult matchups, Schofield pushes for accountability, competitive integrity, and respect for the sport. His message reinforces that hype and records alone do not define a fighter's true legacy.
Shakur haven't fought none of the top four of his era.
for the last, how many years they've been calling for them fight these dudes not fighting like that. So that's fantasy fights, thinking, oh, Keyshawn gonna go all the way up and fight Devin. And man, that's fantasy stuff. That's all that stuff is. And
you even said that he was like cut up and shit, you know what I mean, on that, what you said, snack?
No, I said I said I respect. Oh, do you mean a thing? What you talking about?
Keisha.
Yeah, Keyshawn got stocky. He got stocky, but he gotta. Stockiness don't mean nothing. Stockiness don't mean. I hope we get to fight Keyshawn before he go to 147. 140 Keyshawn would be a good fight for Kid. I think Keyshawn.
Is that why you upset because he's leaving?
I'm never upset. I'm not upset telling the truth about these guys leaving and running. I said it years ago what was gonna happen. People told me I was lying. Oh, y'all capping, y'all ain't gonna fight Keyshawn. I said, Keyshawn ain't fighting us. I said, Shakur ain't fighting us. Yeah, we lined up for Shakur. We didn't pull out, it's a fact. Why wouldn't we get the fight when he got out the hospital? It wasn't his fault. He trained hard, he did everything else. Somebody tried to kill him. And the toxicology showed that. Why wasn't a real champion want to give this young man a fight who really stepped up to the plate to fight him and went through all this adversity to make it there, and somebody poisoned him? He deserved a shot to fight. But that wasn't like that there. And it's for a reason. So, I found out this shit is just smoke and mirrors, man. Has nothing to do with boxing. Has a lot to do with the money made behind the scenes. So I know Shakur better step it up, or that's boring for boxing. So they're not gonna keep him. Even if he win, if that fight continue to be.
Analysts AK and Barack break down the upcoming Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight by highlighting the sharp contrast in their journeys and mindsets. Shakur is portrayed as relentlessly driven, carrying the same hunger from his amateur days into the pros, with clear goals of pound-for-pound recognition and a place on boxing's Mount Rushmore. Teofimo, while immensely talented and passionate, has experienced setbacks, including personal struggles and periods of wavering motivation that once made him question his future in the sport. The analysts note these challenges could either forge a dangerous chip-on-the-shoulder mentality or expose vulnerabilities against a locked-in opponent like Shakur. They emphasize Stevenson's consistency, discipline, and competitive edge, sharpened through years of elite training and sparring with fighters like Terrence Crawford. At the same time, Teofimo's renewed focus and strong recent performances suggest he has reconnected with his first love, setting the stage for a high-stakes, unpredictable showdown.
He's a kid that has always wanted to be considered the best in the sport. From the amateurs till now, he wants to be pound-for-pound top dog. He wants to be on Mount Rushmore, so on and so forth. Teofimo, I feel that he's had that passion, right? But he's had lapses to at times where he thought about even quote unquote retired and said he was done with this game. He's had, sometimes, at times issues with his father that, they've been able to reconcile and move on, but kind of lost some passion for the sport because of the way he was treated. Now, I don't know if that helps you because it creates this chip on your shoulder as a fighter to keep continuing to prove the world wrong that you are one of the best, or if it psychologically affects you against a guy like Shakur.
Yeah, I think a guy like, when you go against a guy like Shakur reminds me of Bud Crawford. You can't have those lapses. You can't have that kind of mindset. And I think, Teo's been very vocal about the things that he struggled with. And, he was going through a divorce, and all of these things were making it really, really hard for him to focus on his first love. But that's the thing. Recently, he said he came back to his first love. He remembers that this is what got him everything he has. And he's back in love with boxing, and that's what we've been wanting to hear. And when we see a Teo like that, he's sharp against Josh Taylor. When we see a Teo like that, he's sharp against Lomachenko, and also willing to fight all these guys. Now think about this. I know we call big, heavy punches the boogeyman, but usually the boogeyman is the guy that's hard to beat. And Shakur
Stevenson says that every time he steps into the ring, his goal is total dominance, no matter the opponent. He wants his performance to be so clear and decisive that judges have no room to question the outcome. He fights with a constant chip on his shoulder, using it as fuel to control the ring and prove he belongs among the very best of his era. Shakur believes a win in this fight would place him firmly in the top 5 pound-for-pound rankings and establish him as one of boxing's modern for kings. He understands that how he wins, his style, authority, and decisiveness will shape how history remembers him. Addressing Teofimo Lopez's controversial behavior, Shakur calls it attention-seeking and predicts it will backfire when they meet on January 31st. He also clarifies that his recent conversation with Floyd Mayweather was not about strategy, but general discussion. Fully locked in, Shakur insists he will let his skill, speed, composure, and determination speak for him, proving everything through action inside the ring on fight.
But do I gotta be dominant? I think every fight that I set up, I want to be dominant. I don't care who in front of me. I want to dominate. I want to beat you to where judges don't feel like they can rob me. So I always got that feeling. I always got that chip on my shoulder.
If you do win this fight, what do you think it does for your career?
I think it put me top 5 pound for pound. I think it puts me like one of the best fighters in my era. I think it just established that I'm that guy. Like, I'll be one of the 4 kings that they call the 4 kings, and it also depends on the fashion that I do it. So it's gonna be interesting.
But what be going on with this Teo dude though, man? I be seeing these videos online of him making racist comments. You be seeing that, man?
I think he's an attention seeker. So even with the racist comments, even with the homo stuff that he was doing, I think he's just a big attention seeker. He gonna do anything to get attention on him, and I think it's gonna backfire come January 31st.
And I heard you say that you and Floyd spoke about this fight.
No, I ain't really asked him advice about the fight. When I talk to him, we talk about different things, but he just was telling me that I should be the A side in the fight.
Bosnianis delivers a clear warning for Teofimo, stressing that Shakur Stevenson's speed is his true power. While many believe Teofimo holds advantages in size, athleticism, and explosiveness, Andis points out that Shakur has already outboxed much bigger opponents, even light heavyweights, by relying on movement timing and precision. He explains that underestimating Shakur's punching power can be dangerous, because it's often the shots you don't see that do the most damage. Andis predicts a fight could go the distance and end in a decision, but cautions that one misstep from Teofimo, walking into Shakur's punches, could quickly change everything. Shakur's speed, accuracy, and high boxing IQ make him a threat at any weight, and opponents cannot depend solely on size or strength. Andis emphasizes that Teofimo must fully respect Shakur's timing and agility to avoid being caught off.
I mean, people think, a lot of people say it's going to be easy. Teofimo can punch, and he can box. And like I said, and he's real athletic. So, that'll make it a little difficult right there,
I see a lot of people going back and forth with it. Some people think Teo got the advantage because of the weight and that he's athletic and explosive. Some people say Shakur is the better boxer.
Yes.
Right? How you see that fight ending?
Well, they saying, they've got the weight and all that. I see Shakur boxing big guys, light heavyweights and all that stuff. Just like, he boxes heavyweights and put the heavyweights down. You know what I mean? I think that's the right move for him. You know what I mean? Get up, and I think he can really do good at that weight.
This isn't a stoppage.
I'm looking at a decision, not a stoppage. But then it all according how Teo come in. Teo come at him. He's gonna run into some shots. It might be over. You know what I mean?
Now you always tell me it's the shot that you don't see coming.
That's
That
it.
power is speed.
Right.
So could it be a situation where people underestimate Shakur's punching power?
Yeah. I think Shakur can punch. I think he can punch. It's just like I said, speed is power. Not them guys, muscle bound guys come in and do something.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time,